Hey, the Bitcoin halving is happening April 19th. A lot of people have been asking me what happens when the Bitcoin halving happens. What is the Bitcoin halving? So I'm going to explain some of those things to you right now and where you can expect prices to go. A lot of people are direct messaging me going, Dan, how high will Bitcoin go? Okay, so the halving is happening April 19th. So Bitcoin mining is basically like merchant processing, and the difficulty is going to double. Right now, about $50 to $60 million a day worth of Bitcoin can be mined. And what's going to happen on April 19th is it's going to be twice as hard. So roughly half of that will be mined if the same computing power was used to mine. Now, what's crazy is we've seen inflows over $700 million a day into Bitcoin ETFs on certain days. So I think it's a pretty darn compelling future. Now, a few things to expect and a few things that are different this halving cycle. Bitcoin hit all-time highs just a few weeks ago before the halving. That typically happens a couple months after the halving. And why this is super critical is I think we have a compressed cycle. And what that means, though, is I think you're going to see an amazing possible run up through this year. But instead of like a 2-year or so cycle, you may see that shortened cycle, but at a highly accelerated pace. There's a thing called the black swan. A black swan is an event that really is a paradigm shift changer in events. And that was the ETF launch from 10 of the largest institutions out there. BlackRock, Fidelity, huge institutions. And to give you an idea, BlackRock has over $10 trillion under management, and Fidelity over $6 trillion in assets. This is a big deal. So what's probably going to happen is you're going to see some chop. What I mean by chop is you're going to see spikes and dips and dead cat bounces and all kinds of fun stuff leading up to the halving, and probably a little bit after the halving. We usually expect 30 days to 60 days after the halving to see some chop, but it may be a little different. Now, how low could Bitcoin go? We predict we could see as low as $45,000 Bitcoin in a flash crash, but most likely in the lower 50,000 range on the low, ranging to the $70,000, $72,000 range. Between that, you're going to see a little bit of chop, and that's normal. Now, what happens is a lot of people panic and they just start freaking out. But what we like to do in our fund is use these dips as opportunities to sometimes deploy in projects that go massively on sale. A lot of times when Bitcoin and Ethereum drop, the mid cap and small cap tokens significantly drop. But what's really cool about it is after Bitcoin rises, you start seeing Ethereum usually rise, and then the mid cap and small cap projects, if they're good projects, can go exponential. And that's where we have most of our ugly unicorn fund investor money deployed in mid and small cap. So patience is really an important thing. One thing I encourage you to not do is check Bitcoin like 10 times a day unless it's something that you really enjoy doing. And for a lot of people, psychologically, I look at this for tech stocks as well, is dollar cost averaging. What I do is I set a fixed amount, and I do this in my personal accounts too, every month that I deploy into crypto projects I like, stock projects I like, and every month it just comes out like a bill and I deploy. Now, if I sell a piece of real estate or I sell a Lambo and make profit on it, or a rare Porsche or something like that, I'll take sometimes that profit and deploy it in there. As you guys know, I do have a lot of real estate. I love real estate. And during profit-taking cycles, I love to take that profit and deploy it into cash-flowing real estate as well. Because I call old man money, real estate's great. And it's a lot easier to work with, especially if you have a good property management company. A lot of you guys don't know, but 70% of my assets are real estate, and also stocks and equities, but I love crypto. Crypto is great because exponential gains can happen. Now, I believe in our lifetime, if you're over 30-something years old, This is just like the internet in the early 1990s when it was very small. Can you imagine, though, if you had participated in Amazon, Microsoft, Google when they were startups? A lot of people don't remember, and I talked about it before, how Apple Computer in 2001 dropped 51% in one day. And that year, Amazon dropped 80%. Wow. And people thought crypto was dangerous. The last crypto bear market in 22, we saw a 77% drop in Bitcoin, right? And how we mitigated risk, our fund only dropped 17%, is we provide liquidity for decentralized exchanges. A lot of people ask, well, what's liquidity? Can I do it? Well, there's something kind of like that. If you go to Coinbase and you stake, they pay you for Ethereum like 2.78% or something like that. But they're keeping a majority of those staking profits. What we do is we provide liquidity for decentralized exchanges. We take that profit and we return the majority of that to our customers. And the cool thing about it is when the market dropped over 77%, we only corrected 17%. Because I tell you what, when things dip and drop really heavy, it's like falling off a building or a cliff. It's like climbing up Mount Everest on the way up. When things drop 50%, you almost got to double just to be able to recoup what you lost. So you see a lot of people now that are claiming they're crypto experts, crypto gurus. And one thing you want to research about anyone that maybe you're taking some knowledge from is how long have they been in crypto? Most of you guys and gals know from my previous videos, I built the biggest Bitcoin mining facility in Utah in 2014. And a lot of people, in fact, I'll tell you the story if you got a minute here. We ordered too many video cards, way too many video cards. And so this professor at the university brought in a USB stick, and what it would do with the script he had on there, it would scan for whatever token you could mine that would be the best hash rate and the lowest cost electricity to mine. And it would automatically switch between these different chains. We ended up mining at first Bitcoin and ended up moving to Dogecoin of all things, which is crazy at the time. And that was the most profitable at the time in 2014. There's a story I'll share again, but it was funny. This one guy, he owns a bunch of coffee stores, a whole chain of coffee stores here in Utah, and he bought 12 GPU mining arrays, and he put them in the back of his coffee stores. Well, it's funny because he forgot his password and seed key. And I always tell people, never share your seed key with anybody, but he had lost it. And in the 2021 run-up, he's like, dude, I lost it. I'm so depressed. I had so much Dogecoin in there. So he ended up texting me, and then I checked in my iMessages, and he had sent me his seed phrase. And I sent it to him, and he made me this killer video of how much money he had made. So it was pretty freaking cool. I will actually share that in the stories up above here if it'll fit in there, and you can look at that testimonial. But he was saying that he made so much money, it was like life-changing, even though he owns chains of coffee stores. So his name is Ryan. I was really proud of him for doing that. But never send your seed phrase to anybody, okay? And one last thing. If you find my videos helpful, please share them on your social media so we can educate some more people out there. And again, right now, this is the technology breakthrough of our lifetime again, just like the internet in the early 90s. And you don't want to be one of these people like 10, 20 years from now going, man, I woulda, I coulda, I should all over myself. Get it? Woulda, coulda, should all over myself. Don't shit on yourself. Now, anything you do put in crypto, keep in mind that, psychologically you want to brace yourself that it could go to zero. If you're having anxiety with your crypto or anything you're investing in, you probably have too much invested in there, and you should probably ease up a little bit. That way you don't get emotional and panic sell and things like that. So many friends of mine, I remember back in the day, I remember when Bitcoins went from $170 to over $1,500, $1,600, and then dropped back down to $150. And a lot of people bought it at $1,700, and when it drew down, they sold it. And can you imagine if you just hung on to that? I still have a lot of that Bitcoin that I bought back then. So the long game is really the key. And whether it's real estate or stocks or crypto, if it's a project that you believe in that really has legs, if you're 5 years patient, you're probably going to do a lot better than if you're some trader dude or something. And we don't do a lot of trading. We're really long with our positions, and we like to get yield and cash flow from our LPs that we provide liquidity for. All right, guys, so this is going to be great. Do not sleep on this. Take a little bit of action again with the money that you're not afraid to lose, but would love to invest a little bit in the possibility of a really great future for yourself. And of course, I'll do some Ask Me Anythings, of course, in my stories above. Feel free to ask me anything. But take a moment and share this, and let's see if we can help some more people, man, and take advantage of this next evolution of technology. All right, you guys, it's good seeing you. Have a great night.